Hey, what's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate Tour Reviews. This is a pretty cool solution for your truck, car, SUV. This is one of those things that I've got an issue myself. I've got a 2019 Ram 2500 Tradesman. So I've got the base model Ram. It's got like this really small little touchscreen, you know. It's got Bluetooth on it to my phone, no navigation or anything. It works okay. You know, I need it for work. I bought it during the pandemic, unfortunately, when I had to pay quite a bit for it. So I couldn't really find it near 3/4 tons at the time. I kind of just had to, take what I could get, really. And there is no Apple CarPlay. My wife just bought a new truck. She's got CarPlay, Apple or Android Auto on it, and it is absolutely awesome to have. And I've never actually owned a vehicle with either of those features, and so her truck is pretty cool to have. Now, Carpodgo reached out to me and said, hey, we've got a solution for that doesn't involve taking apart your dash. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably sure it works just like terrible, right? And they're like, no, this thing is actually pretty sweet. So I got this thing in and I got this thing set up, and I was pretty intimidated at first. I'm like, okay, so it's got to interact with my car stereo, and how does this thing go together? There's a bunch of wires in the box too. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a gonna be a fun install here. Actually, no, it's actually really, really simple. On my truck, I got it installed in about 3 or 4 minutes. It's actually pretty simple. A lot of it is optional stuff in here. So you've got like a backup camera in here. If you want to put that in, so you've got an older car that doesn't have a backup camera, you can run that wire yourself and get that in there, no problem. My truck has it, so I'm still going to use the original screen in my truck for, of course, the backup camera and, of course, for the Bluetooth. I'll get to that in just a second. Basically, though, here is the screen. It's a 8.9-inch screen. It's fully laminated. It claims to offer the only 60 frames per second of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on the market, which is very cool. And of course, it's got a lot of neat features on it. I do like how it does have this magnetic base on the back here, which is pretty sweet, so I can pull this thing out without actually taking apart the whole thing. Right now, I've actually only got the power cable in, and it is working in full Bluetooth mode, which is pretty awesome. So this thing is really easy to just put back in the truck. No big deal at all there. So we're going to show you guys in the Ram here how this thing goes in, how this thing all works, and it's pretty sweet here. I'm actually really surprised how easy and how awesome this thing works. It does feel actually like a very high quality screen. I think they run a bit over $200 for this whole setup, and I do like how this thing works so far. So guys, let's go to my truck and I'll show you guys how this thing works and how it goes in as well. All right, so first things first, I still have my dash cam in here. I will say I picked up the one on sale on Amazon. I've had a couple over the years, and I have really had no issues with any dash cams I've had. I am in Florida, so everything on my dash absolutely bakes all the time. So anything related to heat, yes, that's something I definitely test out because things get so hot down here. I will say this new dash cam, I will link in the description if you want to check it out. They didn't sponsor me or anything for this. I just bought it on a deal, and so far it's worked pretty well because this suction cup has stayed absolutely rock solid. The one I had before, this thing kept falling off, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because the rep from GoProd said to not put this thing on my windshield, even though the instruction says I can, because I'm in Florida, it does have the chance of falling down. So I was able to put this thing right here on my dash. It does fit. It's interesting because it's a very sticky little suction cup here. And even though it's not perfectly on here, it still stays on pretty rock solid, which is awesome. They do include a base for it that you can stick on first, then apply the suction pad to. That's, of course, going to be a more permanent solution. I want to figure out where I want to put this thing exactly here on my dash before I put a more permanent solution down. Now, they do give you a cigarette lighter, which is interesting because they also have a USB out on this as well, too. So you can still run your dash cam right off this thing, too, if you have this mounted up here on your dash, which is absolutely fantastic. Awesome feature. If it didn't have that, I'd have a bit more of an issue. Probably end up buying, actually, this is just USB-C powered. So I could just buy another one of these and run this over USB-C to have 2 USB outs here. So I could go to my dash cam, I could go to this. So that'd be a simple solution there if I had that issue. Now, this is actually a pretty robust mount here. It does offer a number of solutions for going up and down. I got this thing just mounted in here. I was moving it around quite a bit to see where I wanted to put it. I like the magnetic design, and it is a pretty serious magnetic design on there. It sticks on there really, really solid. So I'm going to just install the power switch on here again, and it just, bam, just back on there, just like that. So let's get the truck. I'm going to turn just the power on here. All right, so powering up the screen takes about 6 seconds, it claims. It does actually boot faster, ironically, than my radio here in this RAM, about 2 seconds faster, which is pretty funny. So this thing will be up quite a bit quicker. There's a couple of ways to connect it. I got it in the most simple way. GoProd, they said that the simplest way that 99% of their users actually use is basically just pure Bluetooth mode. So what it's going to do is you basically put your iPhone, which is filming right now, put it Bluetooth to your radio, start with that, and then of course you can connect it Bluetooth to the GoPod Pro, which then what it does is it uses it just as a screen only. So of course I've got Apple AirPlay working right now. I've got my Spotify, my phone here. It's telling, of course, my battery life here. I'm on 5G, and then I got my maps here as well too. So it's not actually going to play any music through this. It's going to play it right from my phone to the car stereo, and this is just basically going to be a controller. Very simple. I wish the manual kind of explained it a little bit better. I was reading the manual, I'm kind of like, I don't know what that means exactly. The manual didn't really explain it too well until I figured it all out, how this all works. It's actually a lot simpler than it seems, and overall setup time for me was, I'd say the hardest part was just mounting this suction cup where I wanted it to go, where it actually would stay really nicely. And that was about it. Honestly, it was just that simple. So very cool there. You can also use an auxiliary jack out if your car does not have Bluetooth. So that's another easy way to do it. Ironically, this truck does have an auxiliary jack out, and I tried that out too. It does work that way. But going just to a pure Bluetooth mode, as they call it, that's the simplest way to do it. So now my truck has CarPlay, it has Android Auto, and I can still use my backup camera on here. It still works with my phone. It's just using my phone connection to do all of this now. And I'm only running one wire to it that doesn't go around the dash. It's actually right up here because I love the RAM design of having the cigarette lighter out there. I wish I had a couple more USBs up there too. It'd be actually really nice to have, but that's about what you can get from there. And this thing works awesome. It is very smooth, 60 frames per second on this thing. Touchscreen is fantastic. Got that laminated screen, works just absolutely amazing. I love the design of this thing, and I don't need to replace anything in my dash now. Super simple here, just works great. So I had no idea the solution even existed until they reached out to me, and I didn't think it'd be this easy to use, which it absolutely is. Yeah, so thanks again to GoPod for sending out this to me. This T3 Pro is absolutely fantastic, guys. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out the dash cam that I use. It has saved my butt in the past in a couple of accidents I was in where I got rear-ended. That's a long story for another time, though. But this thing works great. Link in the description, guys. You want to check this thing out. I am just super surprised how this thing works. Did not expect it to be actually that good. I was even looking at buying a new truck that would have, Apple CarPlay on it because my wife's truck works so well with that. But guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day and stay safe out there.